weekend, my brain has been all over the place on a case that has been brought to light in YouTube family rehoming the adopted son. I'm in many support groups that have to do with adoption, and I'm also in a ton of support groups of special needs children. And so this has really hit home in both of those groups. And at first I was like, I'm not going to do a video about it. But then I thought, when I'm not doing a video about it, I'm making a statement. And so I started doing my research and getting all the facts and getting statistics to give y'all. And then I realized when I'm doing all of this, I am picking up that rock to throw because I am judging another special needs mom. And I don't want to judge. That's not my job. I do want to educate y'all. And I want to share a journey with y'all. So I'm going to start off by telling you our adoption journey, because many of y'all don't know. I have a genetic disorder, and I have NF, neurofibromatosis. It's a genetic disorder that causes tumors along the spine most of the time. Although I haven't had any tumors or any issues with that, I have had a problem with seizures, and at times my seizures have been very hard to control. And so I knew that I did not want to have biological children because the risk of the hormones has a chance to make tumors grow. It just, birthing a child was not in God's plan for me. Adoption was always my first choice. And after going through many adoption classes, I am thankful that adoption wasn't my backup plan. It was just my plan and my husband's at the time. So I'm going to start off. It was about probably 2012, and that's when we started the adoption process. We went to a nonprofit and we were going to adopt an infant. After paying a ton of money and getting our homesteading done and going through the process, we decided anyone who is willing to pay that much for a baby is going to love it. So I thought at the time. And it was just a way that God used to close that door, that is not where I was supposed to be. And in that process, so we decided that we would open our house to foster. And we had strict, we weren't going to foster special needs kiddos, because the reason we weren't having biological kiddos is because we wanted healthy kids and we wanted me to be healthy. So we decided no, we opened our house and decided what we were willing to take and what we want. And then in that process, I was on the TARE website one night, and the TARE website has kids in the foster care system with, most of them are older or have some kind of special needs. Well, there was a set of twin girls, and I knew these set of twin girls were supposed to be my babies. So we updated our home study so we could take medically fragile kiddos. And after we updated our home study to take medically fragile kiddos, we were willing to take up to 4 kids, just because we lived in a big house and it was just my husband and I, and we had room and we thought we could handle 4 kids. Why not? We got the call for Benjamin's case, and I was like, man, that's a scary case. He's blind, he's deaf, he doesn't show emotion, life expectancy wasn't good, and I was like, man, I can't do that. I can't do it. after talking with my husband, we decided that yes, we can and we should take Ben. I was like, I will take Ben as long as we will still take the twins. Because I didn't want to go through this process, which took 3 years, to end up with a baby that I had to bury. Didn't want to do it. Well, Benjamin, the medical file I got on Ben was not Ben's medical file. He is not blind. He is not deaf. He is going to be 8, but that's only by the grace of God. But God had to use closed doors and open doors to get me where I was supposed to be and be Ben's mom. And I am thankful for that journey. And that journey was long and it was hard and it was a waiting process. But during the wait, I did a lot of studying. I had to. We ended up going through pretty much 3 different agencies, and every agency has classes and things you have to do to be licensed as a foster home or as an adoptive home. So going through the courses, and I was a child life major, so I had a little bit of knowledge in child life and the developmental status and the effects that just all different things can have on a pregnancy and the developmental stage of a baby. And so I felt like I was prepared and I was ready and we were good to go. And I am thankful for The Connected Child. It is a book that I've done a lot of studies in. And it has a lot of really good tips on how to parent these kids that come with trauma. But going through those studies, I do realize it is a good book for any parent who is looking for a way to parent with love. So, that's what I want to say about that. You should read The Connected Child. It is awesome. You should read it, reread it. And actually, I have read it several times, like front to back. And actually, after my nieces and nephews started coming and staying with us more, we had some behaviorals that we needed to work on. And I was like, man, I need to reread that book just so I know that I'm parenting the best and effective way I can for them, because although we want the parent that they will sing in our house, and I mean it comes with its own stuff. So I was happy to reread it, and we redid our redos, and it was fun, and it helped, and it made life a lot easier, yeah, and just a new re-glance on how to parent. So, yes, I recommend The Connected Child, and reading it and applying it and doing whatever you can. So but in the process of going through all these classes, and I felt educated and prepared, and when we ended up adopting Ben through Gladney, and their slogan is your Gladney baby for life. And Gladney is going to be there forever to help and support. And you call them and they're there. And it is a blessing. One of the statistics we got during one of the courses, and I think it was at Gladney, maybe not, maybe it was Pathways. 90% of parents who adopt a special needs child end up in divorce. And we knew this going in. And we knew that it was going to be tough. And we had a 10% chance of coming out as a family. And with that attitude going in, knowing that we were going to have to really strive and work hard to keep our marriage wasn't a success. And I don't say that to scare you, to be like, well, if we adopt a medically fragile kiddo, like, probably will end up in divorce. I don't say that way. I'm just saying the aspect of bringing in a medically fragile child or a special needs child into your home is hard. And you need to be prepared to fight for your family, for your kiddos, for everything. Because it's a journey. And I am so thankful for that journey. I'm not going to sit here and tell you our journey has been roses and sunflowers and butterflies or rainbows. We've had our storms, and actually, I have stopped. There's been big gaps in me doing my YouTube channel because the road has been tough, and I didn't put a whole story out there. Um, Later in the month, I am going to, a very important date is coming up, and I am going to let you on in some of the factors that have happened over the years that I wasn't on YouTube. And part of that was Ben being placed on hospice and Ben not supposed to make it 3 hours. So it is a rough, tough journey. But I was prepared to fight. I opened my house and I became Ben's mom. And when I became Ben's mom, I became his advocate, I became his voice, and it is a fight. Like, I have fought for Ben's life more than the average, most, I would say, parents should have had to. I mean, I had to convince doctors that Ben had a quality of life and that we should continue medical treatment to keep him alive, because it takes medical equipment to keep Ben alive. Ben is vent dependent. He is DJ2 fed. He has prolonged seizures daily that require rescue medication. Ben's medical history is scary, and it is something that I wasn't told of or prepared for, but I was prepared to fight for Ben and be Ben's mom. And I don't say that to discourage anyone from adopting a medically fragile child, and I don't say that to point fingers at people who have failed in adopting a medically fragile or special needs child. They say 1 in 4 international adoptions end up in a failed adoption and being rehomed. So this isn't something that the adoption community isn't used to. Benjamin's needs are the reason why Benjamin was adopted. Benjamin has biological brothers and sisters out there that, last I heard, was still in custody of his biological mother. So medical needs and not being able to take care of a child is not something that any of us, I think, should be able to judge if you are not equipped to do so. If you are not willing to put that child's needs above your own needs and fight and do whatever that child needs to thrive, then please find that baby a home that has that family that is equipped and is prepared to fight and do whatever it takes. Because there are too many cases where it doesn't end up with a happy ending. And I'm not saying that this little boy who is being rehomed is going to have his happy ever after. I don't know what his story is going to look like. I pray that he is placed in a home that has a family that is willing to fight and do whatever it takes to make sure that that baby is thriving. And when I say family, I don't mean a mom and a dad. I just need a support system that is going to thrive and do whatever they can to make sure that that baby gets what it needs. I am reminded of the Sharon Matthews case, where it's a local case. Jan was adopted internationally, and her adopted dad is in prison for the murder of her. I am not saying, well, it's okay that they rehomed her because at least they didn't kill her. I am not saying that in any means, and I don't want you to take it that way. I am saying that when you place your child's needs above your own wants and needs, that there's a respect that should go along with that. Because when a mom places a baby up for adoption, that mom is not selfish. That mom is not a failure. That mom is putting that baby's needs above her own and knows she cannot take care of it and wants that baby to be taken care of. You can put whatever spin on any situation and say, well, they only adopted a baby for the media and to grow their YouTube channel, or blah, 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 and they raised a lot of money and they made a ton of money off this baby. There is no amount of money that would make the sleepless nights, the worry, the stress of adopting a special needs child worth it. The only reason that being a special needs adopted mom is worth it is because I have Benjamin as my son. So you can take whatever spin and say, well, they did this for this and she never blah blah blah. Like, that's all. There's no statistics behind that. You can say that her adoption journey made her YouTube channel grow. And when her YouTube channel grew, she'd be able to become monetized and got fans and donations and blah blah blah, and they made money off of the adoption process. And I have no interest in knowing like how much or whatever. I'm knowing, and that's not our business. Like, we're not to judge. We are not supposed to pick up that rock and throw it. I don't want us to bring down other people. My channel is not about judging other people. I want to educate, and I want to inspire, and I want y'all to see what it's like to live this amazing life that I get to live. And I am thankful every single day that I get to live and be Benjamin's mom. And I pray that I am the advocate that Benjamin needs. And I have been blessed with a village who steps up and goes above and beyond to help me be the mom I need to be. And it takes a village to raise a child. And if you have a special needs child or medically fragile child, it is difficult. The journey is rough. But it is worth it. And if it isn't worth it to you and you don't have the time to invest and fight, and you do not feel equipped to parent a special needs child, finding that child the home that that kid needs is what needs to be done. Doing what is best for the child when you believe you are no longer equipped to fight for that child is the best thing you can do for that child. And so, as they go through this journey and find the baby, who's now 4 years old, the home that he deserves, I pray for him, and I pray that the family that has him or he's placed with will have the support and the willpower to go through those behaviors and fight for whatever they need. Because I know too many families that have special needs children who have changed the special needs community. There is a local mom who has a daughter who has spina bifida, and her daughter loves to dance. And so she has started a dance team for girls in wheelchairs. There is a special needs family who autistic children, and they take photos of these children and make them superheroes. And the list goes on and on how, like the Pokali Project, how these, when you have a special needs child, it changes your world. You will never be the same because it opens your eyes to this world that you never knew existed. And I believe that wholeheartedly. And once you're in that situation, you have a choice on what you're going to do with that. And there are too many families that rock it and change the world because of those special needs children. And I pray for other special needs families out there that get a glimpse of this life, who change it for the better, because there are way too many of them who do rock it and who bless other families because of those struggles. And that's what every special needs child deserves, is an advocate and a voice. And so let's not pick up that stone and say, how can you rehome a child? How could you do this? How could you duct tape that? How could you? That's not all business. Yes, she opened her life and videotaped it and put it out there for the world to see. And so people think that that gives you a right and a voice to judge that person. And if it does, I am opening my life up to be judged and interpreted in whatever way you want to interpret it. And I'm okay with that because I hope my mission to inspire and educate is enough to overcome whatever you see in my life that you don't like and you want to nitpick. Because in everyone's life, there is something that someone can go back and be like, if there's a camera on your family 24/7, you're going to do something that someone doesn't approve of. And I'm not saying that I approve of the parenting methods. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying I'm not the one to pick up that stone and judge them when I've been on this journey for 5 years and I am equipped and I am going to fight every single day for what's best for Ben. And if that fire in me is not able to fight for Ben, I have a village that is going to step in and help me fight for Ben. And apparently that is not the village and that is not the support that this mom has because she cannot continue this fight. So it's not a fail just on that family. It is a fail on our system, on our adoption system, on the process, on international adoption, on having the support that you need when you have a medically fragile child, a special needs child. Our systems are broke, and it needs to be fixed. But we can't sit here and be like, oh well, this needs to be done, this needs to be done, like, and not do anything to change it. So I am not in a position to fight to change international adoptions or that process, but I am here to say that our system is broke, and it takes a support system to raise a family. And if that family does not have the support system in place, when that family breaks down, who is going to build them up? And I'm not going to continue to break down other families. I'm not. And I think that's all I'm going to say about this. I hope that you got something out of this. I hope that when you see a mom at a store who's struggling, like, don't knock them down. Don't bring them up.